We've got spawning up in the north. It is our blue celestial player known as High. And his opponent spawning in the south, our red Vanguard player known as Mangrusl. Or some variation of pronunciation. I'm really bad with pronouncing people's names, so I apologize, y'all. You all can help me with those pronunciations, and maybe that's the adventures. You know, my buddies always joke is it's the best when Nan has to sit here and try to figure out how to pronounce people's names, because they're going to get pronounced 5 different ways over the course of the game, and they're all going to be wrong. So we've got, of course, getting that command post set up, getting our expansion. We've got our scout in here, keeping track of everything going on, really trying to get as much information as possible. And we already know what the information that he's looking for is. Where's the expansion? But it is set up here to be able to kind of clear this path. So already going to be setting ourselves up for this really as forward of a location as possible, really allowing us as much surface area to SimCity out here. And look at this doggo trying to come in here and be annoying, and you know, Morphcore will be able to kind of push it away, no problem. So we're going to be waiting to see where do these players go for. We got to see a very different start previously, but part of that was the map choices. They were kind of the smaller, more traditional maps. We're on Isle of Dread this time, so it has been updated and changed a little bit since previously. You know, we see already slight variations between both players. You know, our Celestial player High is going over here, going for this double Luminite mine here, so really pump up and power up that economy very quickly. We do see on the other side, Mangrusl is going for this 4th base, 3rd base, however you might refer to it as. But part of that is because we get access to our, you know, not just we get Luminite, but we get our Therium mines as well. So you're going to be setting yourselves up for success here. But what a way to respond to this and say, who needs fighting forces? If you're going to be going for a very economic opening, I'm going to go for an economic opening here. And we're going to be taking not 1, not 2, but 3 expansions all at once, and we're just going to go pure economy for this game and really set ourselves up. Now, this is a very risky opening, right? Part of this is you are responding and reacting to how you see your opponent setting up. You know they're not going for a very aggressive forward location. They're not trying to take over our side of the map right now. This is a very large map with additional starting workers. We can get away with being able to do this knowing that our opponent is not going to be out on the map anytime soon, right? They've got 1 lone Argent. They're using their Sovereign Watch to help them creep here, and they're just kind of the slow trickle setup here, getting themselves ready in the kind of more traditional way. They are powering up as well, just like we are. All right, we're keeping track of it, using the doggo to help us see nothing else too crazy is going on, but we're in this window of we are ready to just kind of utilize all of this additional economy into a huge power up. Look at this. Oh my gosh, 6 barracks getting added in here. Now this is what we're talking about as a payoff here. So we're going to utilize all of our bobs, all of these locations to kind of pump and dump all those resources into this huge wave of troops here. So get ready as we start to see. Yep, there's the biokinetics lab getting added into the mix here, and all dogs all the time are starting to come out here, and we're going to go for a very fast, very aggressive swarm style of play with this, and going to be moving across the map to try to really take advantage of it. Now, we could also be going for some creeping methods here, and we'll be seeing some troops kind of get rallied up here, prepared to get the speed, because, you know, imagine a bunch of fast dogs in addition to that fun speed that they get. They're already fast enough as is, but let's make them even faster here. So we will start poking and prodding and pestering these troops. Good control here. Going to make sure that this is not going to be too much of an issue as they shadow massives get diving around on the map there. But there we go. Boom, boom, boom. Speeding up real quick. Look how fast they are. Nice little reveal. And you could already see kind of that slight difference in that speed here. But now we're going to continue up with our creeping method on both sides of the map. Our Celestial player grabbing control of the Watchtower, which is very important because it's such a big map, right? We know that this is going to be our most important point that we're going to be fighting over, right? We need to make sure we have good SimCity here. We've got ourselves in a nice little position. And by clearing this path, it also allows us to be able to protect ourselves from the, our additional resources that we need as we kind of progress ourselves to protect this watchtower and watch this right side of the map. But you notice that Hai is still positioning his troops over on the left-hand side here because he knows that there could be run-bys, attacks, paths of avenues. So the way that he's sim-citying and setting up locations is going to be a big difference here. And here's a nice little adjustment. The Cabals are very cool. A little bit of spellcasters. They've got some slow abilities here, so we're going to be seeing how well he utilizes these in the upcoming battle. If your opponent is all doggo all the time, it's going to be a very useful. But the point of adding in those biokinetic lab there is so we can be able to start getting our upgrades. Quick draw hustle is going to be upgraded here for all of those exos here, allowing them a little bit more power in their speed, right? Gain 25% movement speed for 2 seconds when they attack. This allows them to be able to kind of micro much quicker. Think stutter stepping style when you have these troops. But there's the reveal. That's a big army for both players here. Can we capture this? This is our next point of contention here, and we do end up grabbing that, which is really important, having access to that Luminite Tower, just that slow trickle of additional resources there. But now look at this. The doggos in the front are chipping away, shredding a lot of these troops, and part of the issue is look at how much energy these units have. Not a lot at all, so we needed to get back here to the power bank, and now all that's going to get drained and dumped into this fighting force here. But can we find additional avenues? The SimCity is going to make it hard. Can we find an avenue to get out? And no, we will be able to sneak our way to the left, and that's what we were talking about, is finding those angles. We knew that this base was going to be the point of contention for the first fight, and we already got to see it. But Hai really kind of playing in the dark, and that's kind of the thing of the Celestials, is that you can kind of get away with just like, all right, I'm going to play my game and build up, if you're going for this kind of more defensive style of play. We've seen a lot of aggressive Celestial plays before, especially in our first series of the day, but this is kind of a very different way compared to that, where you're just going to be like, I'm going to be able to build up a strong enough fighting force. I'm going to continue to creep out on the map and play almost a traditional Stormgate style of where I'm not in your face. I'm not kind of trying to cheese you. I'm just going to build up a really powerful fighting force that when we fight in a straight up battle, my army is going to be better than your army, and I'm going to be able to just kind of crush yours and just kind of snowball it there. But that exo count is insane. It is not going to be easy for Hai to get away with his strategy. Yes, you can see already the supply difference here, but the power of the exo is real. And look at this. Boom, boom, boom. Big reveals coming out from the dog. That kind of little bit of extra vision trying to track where the army is. And we're getting closer and closer to a safe location here. And now we're going to have the doggos run up on front. Where are the Kree? Some of the Kree stuck in the back. Remember, the Kree do turn into bombs when they die, and we'll do a little minor splash damage here, but pay close attention to some of these exos as they start getting powered up, because that is a big difference between the Vanguard army and the Celestial army, is the amount of damage and health that they've got does increase as they level up here. But you see this kind of fall back, regroup, because the sabers are out. This forward defensive location is going to be too much for Mangrusl to be able to actually push into. And yes, we liked his opening here, this big power up here of the barracks, the big exo setup here, but the style that Hai is going for of just be defensive, build up a powerful army, absorb whatever hit comes his way, and just kind of continue to build up and take advantage of his side of the map is really, really strong right now. It really is able to work this way because of how big of a map it is, because it is Isle of Dread, and there aren't really the best avenues to try to do for harassments and stuff. But now we're going to be starting to see our own spellcasters, Sentinels added into the mix. We catch the army moving across. Is there enough here? Let's see. Saber's going to be able to help with some extra damage here. And oh my gosh, we're getting some sentries added into the mix here. But look at all those Argents pushing their way forward here. How much energy do they have left? A couple of the Cabals in the back doing what they can here, but additional sentries are coming out. The Sentinels coming out to help out and support this fight here. But once all of these ground units fall in the front, the Sabers are going to be in trouble, and that's exactly what happened as the Exos power their way forward here and will start stampeding their way in and starting to shred those Sabers on the back line. Kree have been started to add to the mix, but look at this. High is going to be in full-on retreat mode, losing so many sabers as the doggos are trying to get this around here, and they do manage to get on top of those, and none of those will be able to escape here. The rest of the troops trying to fall back here, and there grabs this, locks it into place, allowing us to be able to pounce on top of it. Great use of the Sentinel there. And now we kind of fall back again because we can't push into this location. This is such a defensive spot here that we can kind of force our opponent back. But look at how much power up these Exos have gotten. All these little yellow rank markers are indicating just how much stronger they are. The longer that these troops stay alive, the more powerful they become because the more higher rank that they get, right? Level 3 champions now added to the mix here. Look, this big swarm. More and more production, of course, has been added over onto the left-hand side. And this is also that big difference between each other's armies, right? Mangrusl here is being able to utilize all of this economy that he's got and just pump and dump straight into all of these barracks that he's got, both set it up in one location but also in this location as well. So he's just kind of funneling everything. So even if he loses some troops, it all works out well because it all goes right back into rebuilding, where it's a little bit harder for our troops to get reproduced and rebuilt on over for High, right? The Celestials are kind of having to prioritize what they go for. Ooh, this is a nice little addition here. So the Anomancer getting added in and going to utilize additional spellcaster power here. I love when they get access to that black hole ability. It's going to help lock some of those troops in place, especially those fast-moving units like the dogs, as well as those Exos there. But, ooh, this... Look, okay, pay attention to those supplies here. 286 to 223. That is telling a little bit of a picture about what we're seeing and how much that our Vanguard player has been able to get away with this, right? There's the reveals coming out. Both players kind of know what's going on. Nice catch. Exos will be able to clean those up, but Medtech's getting added in. So a nice diverse army coming out from both players, but High, knowing that he can't really fight this, has to reposition and refall back up to his forward location here. I love the addition of these little sentry guys. All right, we love to see it. Scanners coming out here will get cleaned up here, and we're trying to play for the fight. You see the black hole going to be starting to get utilized and trapping some of those troops further back, doing a little bit of splash damage in the process. But look, we just kind of stutter step our way forward, get past it, and really just try to jump on top of that army. Sabers in the back doing quite a lot of damage here, and we will be seeing it is very, very even right now because of just the amount of DPS from both sides on this army. But we will see the front line falls just like before, and now High is in full-on retreat, full-on scramble mode, trying to get his sabers back to protecting them over on all of these power stations, but it's not going to matter as more and more doggos run on top of it, more and more of those lancers get up there, and GG is called. Mangrusl takes game number 1 here, utilizing that power of economy to pump and dump his way into victory with all of these great bio troops in here, showing us a very strong strategy to deal with the defensive Celestial player here in game number 1 here. What a way to start this series. Now, it is a best of 5, so we will be jumping over and seeing how will High respond to this. Excellent. Love to see it. Good lucks. Have funs coming out from these players. So let's get into it. Spawning over here on the right-hand side, and we don't even have to change, because guess what? They spawn in the exact same spots that they did last time. So spawning over here in the right-hand side, it is our blue Vanguard player, showing us the power of economy in the first game. Look at that reveal. We knew where he's at. It is Mangrusl. His opponent spawning up on the upper left-hand side of the map in this awesome 4-player map. It is our red Celestial player, known as High. So, setting up our little pocket expansion here. This reminds me of Metalopolis of back in the day of Wings of Liberty. That's what I was trying to say, is like these expansions that you've got are not really it, but it's like these almost square-like bases that you have on the 4 corners, a 4-player map style. You know, you've got easy to take expansion, but it is, you know, whether you go for the outside one or not, it's still wide open, easily able to harass and mess with there. But it's going to be interesting to see how economic our Vanguard player goes for this time. We saw that last time as a main focus. Because of such a large map, you could be able to get away with jumping around and doing all that, like, oh, I'm going to just go pure economy because you can't punish me for that. Will it be a similar strategy? Because we saw kind of how defensive high was, and you know, there is that element of being able to just kind of absorb hits and take advantage of that. And oh my gosh, it is. Look at this. Let's just go. You know, more workers to start with means that we can kind of get away with these strategies, and you can't necessarily punish this. Is this going to be the new Vanguard strategy? Is this just kind of the way to go? Is just, you know, all bobs all the time? Let's just kind of, you know, create as many expansions as possible because our opponent, the Celestial faction, can't really punish us without going for like a forward expansion. And maybe that is why we were seeing such aggressive forward expansions and aggressive placements of our, you know, bases in our first series of the day with Game Friend. Maybe it's a different matchup and different maps that does play a factor in it as well. But this is something to kind of keep in mind and note, because again, we just had a recent patch that changed the economy of Stormgate. It increases the amount of workers that everybody got. That's a reason why that we see like 2 prisms start out over here on the Celestial side. It's a reason why we had so many bobs starting over here. But this looks like it's just going to be the same strategy that we saw before. Is we're going to be up to 4 bases. Our economy is going to skyrocket. Look, 800 right now. Oh my gosh, we're really powering up here. And now we're going to go boom, boom, boom. There's our racks getting added in here. 6 racks follow up here, just like last game. We're going to see some doggos get added into the mix here. We're going to switch it up and go into the exos after that and just really utilize that strategy. Now, we're seeing, again, a forward wall off location here. This is kind of our jumping off point. Very defensive. Very much like I'm going to make sure that I'm protected and I'm safe as I position myself and get myself ready for kind of the next stages of, let's get up our 3rd base here. You know, 4th base, you can be able to capture. We could also destroy these rocks. That is something to keep in mind. That are destructible terrain on a lot of the Stormgate maps, which I think is really cool and really fun way to kind of update the strategies that workers are able to kind of break down these destructible debris, destructible rocks, destructible trees, whatever it might be. So it adds a lot of extra-ness to it. All right. There's the doggos coming in. Oh, someone was saying, did you know that you can, in Stormgate Replay, add score by clicking on the player's name? Ooh, I didn't know that. They just added this feature in there, so I'm going to have to do some playing around and messing with that in the future. I just am like, I just have these buttons and can update the scores manually on my end. And one of these days, I'm going to have to do some playing around and adjusting that. So if I click on it, it does. Now, I have to do that in replay mode, huh? Ooh, cool. All right. Now we know for replays. I haven't been doing as much casting from replays because there wasn't as many features in the replay mode compared to live casting stuff. And so I was like, we're going to try to stick with live casting as much as possible because I have all the features that I need right now. You know, all the features that are available, you know, that we can love. All right, getting up into the center. Big reveal's going to continue to get spammed out here for our Vanguard player just to kind of make sure we're safe. All right, we're going for this kind of up out in the center, getting control of the watchtower, but we don't want to get pumped and surrounded and attacked anytime soon, so we got to make sure that we're safe in that regard. All right, Shadow Mastiffs diving around here. This, of course, is our speed camp. So, again, big part of Stormgate, not only with the way that we're kind of being out on the map, being active, but it's also take those camps. You get a little bit of a resource boost by doing so, and it's been a big part of the way you play the game up to this point. Now, will it be as necessary? Maybe not, because of the changes, right? Because of the economic changes, we might be able to get away with not having to feel so far behind by going just for camps, right? It basically was said, hey, going for camps was better economically than taking expansions. And so it looks like they're trying to adjust and maybe make that feel a little bit better and keep trying to work through how the game feels, which is awesome to see that the game is constantly changing, constantly progressing in that regard from the development side, that we can kind of start to see new things take place as more and more patches get released, as they really are trying to test the waters. And this is one of our kind of first real tournaments to see how players deal with the economic changes, and we're seeing some crazy responses right now with this kind of just like mass racks, mass production into mass expansion into mass barrack style of play here. But we're all over the map. You can see all the blue available. We're going to start sending some Argents out to try to fight over this and try to capture some of these locations. How are we going to be able to deal with it, though? We will see as the doggos push this away. No problem. We don't see anything else, though, right? There's nothing else here to kind of reveal what's going on, so we kind of fall back. Sabers have already been added to the mix, so tech-wise, we're further ahead than we were before, right? Our army might be smaller because our expansion count is a little bit lower. We're just now going to be starting to secure our 4th base, where 4 bases have been up for our Vanguard player for quite a while here. So, but the Sabers do make a huge difference in this. So we do see highs, army supply is starting to build up. We're still trying to go and find an angle to attack, but once these Exos get into a fight, things are really going to start picking up here. But look at this. Argent's going to get caught off guard here. Reveal is going to be seeing what does the army look like, how much of it is there. Kree going to come in and make a big difference here against those doggos. That's their whole job right now, is get up in the front. And there's the nice, look at this. Oh my gosh, Oromancers have been added in here already. So that is a nice little addition. Animancer popping down that black hole. We see just kind of that little bit of extra damage, the slow effect, trying to put a stop to those Exos. So it's almost like we have to respond in very specific ways to deal with what our opponent is going for. And now, seeing that there are the Sabers, seeing that there are the Kree, the Animancers out, we kind of have to fall back a little bit and regroup up with our next wave and our next tech of our own, which are these med techs, which will make a huge difference. And really, we're going to see our first battle maybe. Ooh, they're both like really trying to like just dance around each other. They don't want to try to get into a big, huge engagement if they can help it. It's a lot of this poking and prodding right now. But, was the Bobs? All right, so this Argent's whole goal is to get over here and secure this location here. But this base that's trying to get up, this 5th base here, has not really been scouted. Like, there are a couple Bobs that are going by, but they're like just out of sight, out of vision, so we're missing those completely here. But grabbing a control of the Therium Tower is going to be able to help us. Oh, we don't get it. We reposition. Oh, nice. Sensor drone coming to come out and help get some more information going. But we got to kind of fall back here. But yeah, that sucks. We weren't able to use that Argent to be able to capture that. But we got to do what we can to kind of get control of this high ground again and just kind of poke and prod. Will we start taking our own expansions over here? Yes. Okay. So we're responding in kind. Both players are going to be grabbing their locations on the side of the map. And it is going to be almost turning into a left versus right on this side of the map with how these players set themselves up to be able to kind of secure as much of their sides of the map as possible. But will we see the kind of ships passing in a night and be able to just sort of, hey, I'm going to miss your army and I'm going to go attack you, and you're going to miss my army and you're going to attack me, and we'll get into almost a base race situation? It is possible, but with the amount of fighting forces out for both players above that 200 supply, when we get into a big fight, it really is going to come down to positioning. Like right here, oh no, your army is getting caught off because you kind of misrallied across these buildings that were here. Can we get into a better angle here? Already losing quite a lot. Saber's not in a good position either here, and this is what we were talking about. It's all about that positioning. You want your Sabers in the back dealing that significant damage here. The Argent's up at the front to help tank and absorb some of those hits, but boom, stutter step. Let's get up into this fight here, and we'll be able to kind of start cleaning up and dropping down a lot of those Sabers, dropping down a lot of those Argents on the bottom side of the map. There's still some troops in the back over here on the left, still dealing some damage, but what do we have left? Lots of medtechs still left alive in it, allowing us to kind of continue to move our way forward here. Sentinels also helping out to help grab and delay and slow everything down that we need to be able to kind of push through this building, and that is just the most painful thing, knowing that, hey, we want to come to this location, and our troops misrally between these buildings here, and we are kind of caught in scramble mode mode, trying to run back home, trying to get to safety, and will be losing some of those sabers in the process. With the same kind of deal that happened last time. And look at this. Boom, boom, boom. Start cleaning some up. And we do see, of course, to be able to push their way over to the left-hand side, try to push our way up into the natural, and with the amount of exos speeding their way forward, you look at them sprint their way on up here, and there are a couple Argents that are trying to pop up and trying to defend themselves. Is it enough? Do we have enough of a fighting force? Watch the wave of blue start rallying their way across the map here, and that's going to tell you that we have enough to try to find an angle to bust in here, whether it's breaking down the left-hand side or trying to break into the natural. But nice, we see some black holes going to get used, but Animancers are going to fall. Sabers are left scrambling, trying to run their way in. Oh, great block here. We were able to kind of grab that, utilizing our Sentinels here. Very important to be able to kind of close the door on our opponent's retreat, and more damage getting done here as we continue to rally our troops, waiting for that next wave. Here are the doggos coming in. Oh my gosh, we're even adding in the hornets here, and now we're kind of across the tech tree, allowing us to kind of get in and make something happen. And GG is called. High falls and will be sitting in a position of 0-2, trying to find a way to get himself in. I like his defensive style that we keep going for. It is very powerful, but the problem is when your opponent is being super defensive and just like, I'm going to turtle up and make a bunch of expansions, you have a couple responses to it. One, you could sit there and be super aggressive, right? Try to find an avenue to attack them and hurt them for their greed of being turtly and expanding. You can tech up heavily and be able to try to go for a different route. Let me rush to this tech route and maybe trying to harass them another way. Maybe I'll rush to Hornets or something like that. Or you can go for an economic route and try to out expand them. If they're going to say hidden inside their shell and hiding on their base, you can go, that means the map is free for me to explore and run around and do what I want to do. And that's a lot of what we're seeing from our Vanguard player here, as he's just going to be securing all of those bases across the map and go for the same kind of 4 bases and jump right up into 6 racks after that and just kind of dump as much of his resources into those as he can to kind of go, here's my dogs, go run wild, take all of these camps that are on the map, here's my exos, they're going to get powered up, zip around the map there, and then we've got medtechs to kind of heal everything, keep everything alive after it. So really, really cool to see both these players put in a position where they are, you know, trying to maneuver and trying to find the best ways to fight this position. And as of right now, High has shown us that he is a good Celestial player, but he's not really responding to what his opponent is doing. Mangrusl's just like, here's my strategy every time. And I don't, you know, maybe it's going to take High going back and looking at a replay or something. Let's update our scores, because this is a best of 5. All right. And here we go. Spawning in the south. It is our red Vanguard player. Currently up 2-0 in this best of 5. He is known as Mangrusl. His opponent currently down 0-2, using the defensive Celestial play. Will it help him here on Jagged Maw? He is known as High. It's going to be interesting. So Jagged Maw, again, this is kind of the oldest map of the 3 that we've seen these 2 players fight on so far. Not as easy to just kind of swarm and take 4 bases right away. It is a smaller map. There is that aggression potential that you can be able to kind of go for. We are seeing, yeah, we're not going to be going for a immediate 4 base expansion. We're going into the barracks. We're going into our biokinetics lab and already starting with the exos. But look at this rally. We're already going right to the natural here. So we are going to be sending these bobs across here, and we're going to say, I'm taking advantage of what I have seen and how you like to play, and that is going to be utilizing a forward, aggressive, hard contained style that I'm going to be going for here. And there's the Exo. Exo cannot fit through these trees, I guess. Interesting. I always get so weird, like, forgetting which units are able to slip through some of this trees stuff. Like, I know Gaunts can slip through it, Brutes cannot, like, so it's like Bobs can't, like all the workers can, so there's that, like, that element of it. But let's see, there's an Argent here. All right, there we go, sentry post coming in. And how quickly can we deal with this? Not quick enough. We do not have enough fighting forces. So now we get to scramble. Power bank mode's coming in here. Exo's already out, and we're going to throw him in here and make that into a flat cannon. Boom, boom, boom. Look at that. Now we're going to just be able to kind of bunny hop our way forward here and really lock down this location with a hard contain. And, you know, Argents are going to start getting popped out, taking some extra damage. Can we find a good enough avenue to kind of deal with this? So look, boom, continue to bunny hop, and we'll lock down this expansion and not allow you to have any economic advantage. Now, this is a very aggressive rush that we're seeing out of Mangrusl here. High is trying to respond. He went a little bit more economic, a little bit more traditional style, but he is not like completely dead by this rush, right? Yes, he is going to be in trouble with his creation chamber. It hurts. It sucks. We're going to lose this mining base. You can see, look at him lifting off and trying to fly away with that collection array. A little bit of tickling from the sentry post, but that doesn't really matter. But really, it's the Bobs there that say, you cannot stay here. You have to leave. But more and more sentry posts coming up. This is how we know it is that kind of hard contained style of play. We can just kind of rally our Exos across, throw them in here. Even throwing a Bob in here to turn this into a repair-o-matic. All right. 3 flat cannons. Bob's trying to poke up, get us some vision of the high ground. We don't have a doggo anymore, do we? No. So we don't get that reveal ability to kind of help us out here. That's okay. We're kind of responding and dealing with what we can. The Exo is going to try to poke and prod his way up here. We just need enough vision that we can start, like, shooting everything. And yeah, look at this. Flat cannons going to town on that creation chamber. A lot of power banks coming up. Power banks are extremely important because we need to make sure our Argents are able to be powered up and have that energy to be able to keep fighting here. All right. Yeah, we're feeling really good about it. Look at this. Sabers have come out. Okay, there's our tech route. This is how we break this little contain. Yes, we took quite a bit of damage. We lost a lot of this. But in the meantime, all the Bobs are going home. We're ready for that next transition. Again, this was not meant to kill your opponent. Yes, if you are a lesser player than High, if you run into this on the ladder, you probably could end up falling and just lose to this. But High is very skilled. He did not panic. He rallied himself back and repositioned, said, yep, I'll lose a couple of buildings. That's fine. Like, he's doing the slow trickle here. Oh, look at this sensor array. That's annoying. That's pretty annoying. But, oh, nice free Exo there. That's pretty good. All right, but yeah, we have enough that we can now, 2 Sabers out is enough. Look at this. Catches on fire, burns down, no problem. And let's abandon ship. Regroup up. But we saw all the Bobs return home because we knew the damage had been done. We took out our opponent's base. Now we can kind of set ourselves up and get ourselves ready for our next stage. Yeah, reveal comes down. Whoa. Kitten knocking everything over. But yeah, reveal comes down, sees the natural expansion is set up down here, so we're kind of in that position. Okay, I know what you're doing. I've cleared you off. Let me start clearing up and doing what I can. Will he go for the siege? So the siege used to be a big deal on this map. Oh, he's just going to clear the pathway. Cool. Saber's going to be blasting down these rocks and allow us an extra attack path. All right. Not going for the attack yet. Getting ourselves ready here. We were able to secure an expansion in the process. Getting up our next one here. The watchtower does, you know, cause a little bit of problems because if we were going to try to go for, you know, the siege camp or anything, we would know about it. It would be revealed right away. All right. How will Mangrusl go from here? We already know, like, he's got himself in a pretty decent position for his natural. He's going to have that economic... okay. That economy going well, and we see the mech bay transition here. I like this idea of adding the hedgehogs in here. You're going to be going for think of this like battle mech speed style of play, right? You're going to be using hedgehogs, you're going to be using exos, you're going to have a high DPS. These work out extremely well for locking down locations. You know that your opponent will be able to try to secure expansions, and if you drop down some hedgehogs, you put some of them on that kind of anti-air mode, they easily will shred through any of those prisms. And now he's going to zip his way forward here. Watch this. He's going to get in, and we'll start to kind of shred this collection array, and then he can always switch into the anti-air mode if it runs away. Yep, there he goes. Boom, boom, boom. Rockets away. Cleans that up, no problem. And we see High just kind of trying to make something happen, and does end up getting the... Oh, interesting. It no longer paths that way? That used to be the thing. So it used to be that you could be able to clear this up, and... Oh my gosh, Exos will end up... taking at least one blast, but not before they easily clean this up. It used to be that you clean this pathway up and it would rally its way across the map. So I guess they have since fixed that it doesn't just do it, it automatically will go the other way around. But let's get right on top of this base here. The rest of the army is not here, and oh, taking a hedgehog down. This is going to be a tough spot. Bob's going to be pulled off the line. We see going to be rallying on over, trying to help out and try to save themselves in this location. There's the rest of the army coming in, but that's so many sabers. Now, if the Argents are able to absorb a lot of this damage in the front, we'll be okay, and the sabers can deal all that damage in the back, and that is going to be the case. This army kind of falls back, scrambling for Hyde to be able to kind of push his way in here. Will Mangrusl have enough? And now he's trying to kind of barrel his way into it and jump on top of that, but the Saber's still protected by the Argents. And he will be able to start cleaning up more and more Exos. GG is called. Nope, we don't have what it takes. Not being able to go for our tried and true 4 expansion strategy. We tried an aggressive strategy. It worked out okay to stop our opponent, but not enough to stop this game from falling away from us, as High's Saber count got too high there, and we'll be able to kind of take a game here, putting it at a 1-2 record right now. Spawning. Ooh, switching spawn. All right. Okay, it's good. Good. All right, spawning in the southwest. Our blue Vanguard player, currently leading the series 2-1. He is known as Mangrusl, or some variation of that pronunciation. Nobody has helped correct me on how to say his name very well, so that's okay. Spawning, though, over in the southeast. So it is southern matchup here. Starting to come back in this series with the defensive celestial play. He is High. Now, Furious Resolve adds some elements that we need to talk about, because it is southern spawns, bottom spawns. They're right next to each other. One of which is the creep camps that are available for these players. Everybody has a pocket creep camp over on their left-hand side, all right, on this map, whether it's speed camp or health camp. That's it. You have a, of course, bigger, beefier camp, depending whether it's Luminite or Therium. Depends on which one it is, where you're located. We're going to be seeing players fight over these watchtowers in the center, all right? If they're really trying to creep, they'll go out and try to creep some of these other locations, but it's going to be very aggressive, very in your face, and that's why High is going for this location as his forward place, because it's right next to the natural, right? This is very, very close. So will he be the aggressor this time? Or is he still just going to utilize his defensive play as he sets up this forward location and forward base here? That's going to be the question. Oh, the Bobs are out. We're doing it. We're going to go for the mass expand style. 4 expansions. Take this base, and we're going to be going and taking a little hidden base. Which one are we going for? There we go. So, yeah, we're going for a 4 base before anything else into our 6 racks. Study this build. All right? This is going to be one of those things that's going to be able to be utilized in consistent multiple times in the next coming weeks and months, as long as the economy changes. Stay this way, as long as players are going to continue to play on big maps like this. This Vanguard opening is really powerful, especially against the Celestial that can't really do much to punish you for this. because we see that, like, you know, High hasn't identified that this build exists because he's such a defensive player. And by having such a big map like this, even though they're so close, right? This is such a short distance. Even though they're so close, it is one of those, like, well, you got to be mindful of it and be aware that Vanguard players are starting to do this now. All right, creeping up, using the Sovereign Watch to help us. Can we get in and get the last snipe? Oh, I don't know if he did. It was close. Another Argent comes out. Do we get him? Oh, almost, almost. All right. Now we're going to lock down our natural. So we're going to be at 3 bases. Easy, no problem. But are the racks getting added? Yeah, there they are. There's the 6 racks. 4 expansions into 6 racks is crazy. All right, Doggos, Exos going to be the following up here. So this is going to be very similar to the first 2 games that we have seen. All right, there's the Biokinetics Lab right afterward, and really just going to be utilizing all of your economy into this pump and dump strategy here. And now, how will High respond? He's shown that he prefers going for the ground style of play, going for sabers. We haven't seen anything else too crazy coming out from him in this series. Like, it's been just sort of that consistent, I'm going to play it safe, I'm going to tech up. Yep, Starforge is going to get added into the mix here. Guardian Nexus coming out as well. And the Doggos being annoying, getting in, doing some scouting. We'll take a little bit of damage here, but we'll no problem escaping. But again, it's like we're in the dark. We're just going to do our strategy and hope for the best, and hope that our defensive style here is enough to get us there. Sabers coming out. Doggos doing their creeping, doing what they can. All right. I really wish that we could be able to get some more information here. And part of that is, like, because we're going for the Argents and not Kree or anything, we're not as mobile and fast out there. So it's like we can just kind of use our hardy troops, get out and creep and see what we can get done. But, oh, the Doggos revealing, getting some information. They're going to start running around like we talked about. They're going to go for all the easy ones. All right, their whole goal is to be able to get those speed camps, the health camps that are across the map where, hey, this is close to my base. It's safe enough for me to get out there without having to worry too much about what's going on, without getting surrounded and being killed off. There's the Saber coming out. Yeah, we take quite a bit of damage in the process here. Look at a lot of these no energy guys. Ooh. Remember, Argents really start to tickle when they have no energy. But, oh, okay. Photon capacities have been upgraded, so now we get a little bit of extra energy. That makes a big difference here. All right. Next set, Exos coming out. We're getting to that next stage of the game here, as both players have kind of started to develop and show their tech, at least to us, but not to each other yet. Right? It's a little bit in the dark. Now, here's the nice thing is these sabers are going to be hitting at a really good timing, because what is over here, right? Especially if you're paying attention to the mini-map, you notice that this heart camp was just taken, right? You notice that this watchtower was just taken, so now you know there's nothing over here. There's no defenses. But as long as you've got your Argents protecting these sabers, you'll be okay, because here comes the army, the Doggos coming in, and now you're in this kind of awkward surround. There's the big reveal, and you got to focus the Exos the best you can. Bob's coming pulled off the line here. They're going to get taken out here. A lot of the Argents in the front, though, have no energy left. Got to be careful. Oh my gosh, the Sabers getting surrounded by the Doggos. One is going to get immediately surrounded off. One gets killed off over there on the left. 2 are down here. Exos going to start rallying their way forward here, and this is that danger zone. We needed to protect those sabers as much as possible, and they were all cleaned up very, very quickly here. We do see a Morph Core getting added in to kind of help out in this fight here. Sabers coming in as well, and look at this. There we go, powering them up, trying to help us out, trying to push our way forward here, and this rally is going to be nice as we continue to make our way forward here. There's the power bank. I was like, please start helping these Argents out any way we can, and there it is. Let's get set up. Let's continue with this forward location. It says, hey, you went for a contain last time. What if I start to contain you here? And now look at this siege up here, really starting to target it down, but it has to be careful. The Sabers are the linchpin of this army, and he is going to make sure that he is holding on and trying to keep these safe. There's no flank right now that is going to be able to get done. That was just kind of that mistiming of when we were pushing in. Also aware of where the enemy was based on what was popping on the mini-map with those watchtowers. watchtowers as well as the health camp. So now it's like, okay, how much can we do? We're committing a lot to this push, and we have to be careful of the potential flank. Boom, great snipe here. Now, do we feel like this is it? We're going to move over towards the third and really kind of position ourselves. We know that there's a lot of army over here. And can we find an angle to be able to make something happen? There's, oh, a Saber's going to get caught off guard here in the back as the Exos charge their way forward here. And there, look at this, immediate surround. Exos go right for the Sabers. They know exactly who they have to kill because that is the main fighting force within High's army, and they get shredded. There is lots of energy coming out here trying to keep these Argents alive. Remember, their damage is reliant on how much energy that they have. Couple Sabers still in the back, and we're still holding this position here. It is not going to be easy for Mangrusl to be able to pop in here and clean this up. He's doing what he can. He's keeping his Exos alive. They're powering up here, but there, oh my gosh, boom, boom, boom. It's going right for those Sabers, and there's the kind of skid run, charge our way on back home and regroup and reset ourselves up. Do we have enough? Ooh, it's going to lose quite a lot at this forward location. Those power banks were very important, very crucial here. But look at this. Nothing to protect the Sabers, and that's the downside to this army here. It relies very heavily on that speed, on that power of the Sabers. And oh no, we're in the red. Losing so much power here is going to make it really, really tough. There is our Sovereign's Watch. We weren't actually going to be going for this health camp, but now we are. We were really using to kind of help defend against this, but hey, utilize it while we've got it. Clean that camp up, help us out here. Get some more power banks, get us out of the red. Allow us to start producing a lot faster. In the yellow, that's going to help. Some Kree getting added to the mix here. Again, we need someone up front. Think of it all like those high gas units that we need to be able to do in like a Protoss army. You want to protect those higher tech units. Same kind of deal here. And now we see those Sabers coming in, still holding the line, still doing what they can. It's going to be tough. Like the rally that we talked about that, you know, High was utilizing to help push his way forward here is now getting utilized from our Vanguard player. Mangrusl setting himself up, getting those doggos up in the front, allowing those Exos to come way forward here, and he's going, okay, there's got to be another avenue, another angle that you're vulnerable and weak. Let's see it take over the map again, get out on the map, start grabbing more of those towers, poke up maybe at your natural base. Is that the spot where you're weak? Let's find out. And he's going to zip his way in here. Oh my gosh, going to catch a lot of the Cabals right as they're popping. And they do not have enough energy to really take advantage of their power here. And look at this. Dog's going to crash down, catch them, and the Exo's coming in. He found the perfect angle to sneak his way into this base here. And look at this. Yep, that's great SimCity. Lots of power banks, but it doesn't matter. Doggos jump on top of it. Exo's going to start shredding. We've got even some Lancers getting added to the mix over here. And this base is overrun. GG is called. High taps out, leaving this series 1-3. Mangrusl showing the power of the economic opening for the Vanguard. The 4 bases before barracks into 6 barracks strategy that he's utilizing this tournament, especially against Celestials, is amazing. Will he be able to show off this strategy again later in the tournament? We will see, because he is going to be fighting another opponent soon. But that is the end of that series. GG's for both players. Really exciting stuff in this series, in this tournament. Awesome to be able to see. Good job from both players, though. High showing the power of the defensive Celestials. Works out very well, except for when your opponent's economy is just so powerful and you're only going for the barrack style of play. It is difficult.